Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today, Markus Klinko, global gallery artist and photographer. You can find him on his Instagram at Klinko Studio and his website, markusklinkostudio.com. Welcome back, Markus.
Oh, it's so fun to chat with you.
Yeah, that was an amazing story. If you're just tuning in radio and you missed that, you got to go back on the podcast and check and listen to that. Markus's story is just incredible. How he became one of the world's best photographers. He's celebrating 30 years right now. So again, congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk about, I want to talk about the celebrities and your process. Describe the energy on one of your sets, because you walk in, you're working with the very biggest iconic celebrities in the world, and film and television and music. When you walk in on your set, how do you set the energy? What is that like? Give us, if you can, some sort of an idea of what that's like when you face down your superstar subject and they're looking at you and that first interaction. What happens? How's it feel?
Well, I do prepare myself quite well for whatever concept, whatever setting, whatever lighting situation. And of course, depending what I'm trying to achieve at that, is it an advertising campaign? Is it an album cover, a magazine cover? Is it fashion? Is it more portrait? Or is it, an art project? So that it really depends on that a little bit. But I would say that it's very clearly a two-part kind of deal where I am well prepared. I know my location or my studio, it's all set up and ready. However, I keep a very open mind and I'm very spontaneous to change completely if I get a better idea or I see an opportunity or I take it into a slightly different direction. So I have surprised sometimes collaborators, makeup artists, the glam team, if a fashion stylist, by saying, you know what, forget everything I said for the last 3 days. I want to do this with daylight. I'm seeing this is so beautiful out there, whatever. So yes, it's really these two opposites that I bring at the same time to the game.
If you're just joining us, Markus Klinko is my special guest. He's an award-winning international artist and photographer who's worked with so many of today's iconic film, music, and fashion stars. He's created advertising campaigns for brands such as Lancôme, L'Oreal Paris, Nike, Hugo Boss, Pepsi, Sky Vodka, Remy Martin. List goes on. And his campaign for Keep a Child Alive raised over $1 million for children with AIDS in just 3 days. Harper's BAZAAR stated that Klinko single-handedly defined the 2000s. That's a big compliment there. And the BBC called his work the photos that made David Bowie an icon. So you've said, Markus, that our society's worship of celebrity culture fascinates you, and you see your mission as merely holding up a mirror, reflecting back, as her obsession with fame takes on the role of religion. So, with your observations and your years in the business, 30 years in the business, what have you learned so far about this cultural phenomenon that stands out?
Well, it is really interesting to me. I would say I see this almost like a world of Greek gods and goddesses. There is, the goddess of love, the goddess of youth, the goddess of, and let's just take Kim Kardashian. She's a great example. People worship literally everything she does. People imitate her. People watch every move, not just her sisters, her mother, the children. It's this like institution. How did this happen? How is this even possible? Why? Because there is this innate, almost religious adoration for, this particular star. And as I always say, I'm not judging. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying this is happening. It's pop culture. I like to see myself, photography is an okay description, but I like the word or the phrase documentarian of pop culture. I really like to document pop culture. And as I do so, the resulting images become the pop culture, which is kind of fun. So I think that you know, again, it's not about judging. It's just about going with the flow.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really fascinating situation.
Yeah, it is. Well, okay, so you've said of capturing the celebrities, it's the ultimate moment in their career. They will never look better after. Do you choose which celebrities you shoot um, at this point in your progression as an artist? Is there a criteria? Because you could shoot anybody you want. I'm sure you've got a waiting list and requests all the time. How do you choose who you shoot now? Is there a
Actually,
criteria?
your quote, it's actually not me who said that. It's the CEO of Sony Music who said that, which was, you know, a very nice compliment. I was, for most of my well-known work, most of the sort of iconic work that's in the galleries, Bowie, Britney, Beyonce, Mariah, Gaga, I was always hired either by the celebrities themselves or by the label or by an advertising uh, agency for a brand advertising like L'Oreal Paris with Beyonce and all of that. So for a vast majority of the 30 years that I've been working as a photographer, I was just given these opportunities where I was brought in to handle these projects. However, very good point that you're making. Things have shifted. In the last 6, 7 years, I have put a lot of my focus into the art world. I am represented by over 80 galleries around the world. My work with Beyonce in the National Portrait Gallery. So I am still extremely focused on producing new work, but I have changed my attitude towards it a little bit. I'm no longer so much a hired gun where people just tell me what to do, which, I mean, people never really told me what to do. People suggested what they would like, and then I interpreted that. But,
Yeah.
you know, there is still something like, here's the layout, this is what we would like. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can make this better. Nowadays, I would rather say, here are my ideas. How does this work with your concept? And then maybe, you know, and otherwise, I've definitely turned down a lot of stuff now. If I don't feel that I can do a really great job, or it's going to be such a headache because of not matching expectations, I just don't want to do it. But this is the luxury of, after 30 years, a certain amount of laurels, not to rest on, but, you know, to say, okay, well, I've done that, I've accomplished that.
You've earned it.
So, you know, at the same time, I really want to point out, just like a musician, you're only as good as your last gig. If you start producing mediocre work in this time and age, it's not forgivable, because there's so much competition, especially in the world of photography. I mean, in music too, because everyone has access today. Everyone is a photographer. As I said, for a couple $1,000s, you're in business. You have a laptop, you have a camera, you got Photoshop, all of that under $3,000. In the past, this was a totally different situation. So, you know, same with music. Everyone has a home recording studio. Everyone can be on Spotify. This, in fact, brings the competition level up tremendously, because between 10 million photographers, there's got to be some good ones. You know, 99.99% is not good, but there are still hundreds of very talented people out there. And so I got to be better than them.
There are young Markus Klinkos out there.
I am sure they
Fine.
are, and you know, and not just guys. I mean, girls and people from all around the world. So yes, it's a tough business.
Who do you want to shoot right now? Is there somebody that you got? I got a vision for them. They're so
Yes,
unique looking. They're
I'm
so
obsessed with like 3 people right now. One of them I will shoot very soon, but I love Addison Rae. She represents the present extremely well. I love Sydney Sweeney. Those are the stars of the moment that I really like. I do also really, really like Olivia Dunn. I think she is an amazing, iconic athlete. So yeah, those are sort of the, you know, next generation superstars that I'm very interested in photographing.
I'm sure that you said one of them you are going to photograph.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let's see what happens, you know.
it'll be exciting to look for that. I'm going to look for that. Okay, so let's take
Never sell the skin of the bear before you know.
Wise words by Markus Klinko, global gallery artist and photographer. Go to Klinko Studio on Instagram and follow him. And markusklinkostudio.com to see a lot of his work, his great work. We're showing some of it today. If you're watching the interview on YouTube, you can see it a little bit behind me on the screen. And hopefully, we have enough time to talk about some of these iconic, famous photos. Let's take a real quick break. We'll be right back with Markus. Keep a Child Alive. It's a organization that Markus and I are going to talk about next. It's really near and dear to his heart, and he's done a lot to support them. Keep a Child Alive. Um, Children are truly at the center of Keep a Child Alive's approach and business philosophy. They support those living through the effects of prevalent global issues and elevate their power by expanding their opportunities, confidence, and access to resources. Rather than creating a solution on their own, they stand in solidarity with communities who create their own solutions, demonstrating how the proper support can set children and their families up for long-term success. You can join Team KCA. Take a run, make a difference. They're looking for teammates to lace up their running shoes for the cause. Join Team KCA today to raise money, spread awareness, and promote the change right from the starting line. Their driving principle is simple in the words, but complex in their action, changing the world one child at a time. Their mission drives their team. It motivates them to work on the front lines with brave activists to support children worldwide. If you'd like to donate, please go to keepachildalive.org. Be right back.